Hey everyone, Nux here, and welcome back to the channel. So, what we're going to do to start off 2018 is I'm going to introduce you guys to a new segment called Nintendo Update. Now, if you're familiar with my Sonic Update series where I just go over minor Sonic news as time goes on, big points that I like to talk about, I want to do this for Nintendo too. So basically the reason why I want to do this is, as you guys know, I want to put out more videos for 2018. I felt like 2017 was an okay year, but it wasn't as good as it could have been. Like, I was barely uploading monthly alone at that. So I'm hoping to do a better job with 2018 because there are still so many videos I have both not only in the back burner, but new different ideas for videos that just keep popping up. Plus, I'll still have to make videos, you know, the yearly videos I usually make, like videos for E3. Videos for each direct, live reactions, stuff like that. There are still videos I'll have to get out on a daily basis anyway. So in addition to that, I'm hoping that this year is the year that I finally get back to doing a regular schedule with YouTube in a way, and just doing videos on the daily. I mean, I'm not going to promise I'm going to upload weekly, but I'm definitely going to try and get a good, consistent run of videos this year, especially since I have so many in the back burner and so many things I can talk about. But enough rambling. Let's jump into this Nintendo update. So with the Nintendo community right now, we are just finished a point with the Nintendo community where we finish year one, or at least year one in terms of 2017 itself, of the Switch. It's not exactly the first year of the Switch isn't exactly up because that happens when we reach March, you know, when the Switch launched. But for now, we are technically still in that first year, and we're at the point where the Switch is kind of just getting its legs together. It had a great first year, and I enjoyed the software that came to the system, even though I still think that there are definitely areas that the Nintendo Switch can improve on. There are things we still need, like the basic functionality that should have been on the system from day one. Stuff like themes, the social media applications like Netflix, Twitch, etc. There's so much that the Switch is lacking due to being so bare bones. And there was even a rumor, a 5.0 rumor or something, where that all the basic features we want were coming to Switch, but obviously it was fake, too good to be true. But really, Nintendo should get on that, and stuff like that was in that leak should be on the Switch as soon as possible. And it just feels like Nintendo is, of course, taking their time with it, and it's just really annoying. But aside from that, I feel like Nintendo has done a decent job so far in terms of continuing the momentum from this first year of Nintendo Switch. So with January, there were rumors of a January Direct, and it came in the form of a mini Direct. Now, this mini Direct was very mixed, and let me tell you why. So, the January Direct in the previous years were usually very big Directs, things that were really good and had really good announcements, so a lot of hype went into this rumored January Direct. And originally, we didn't even know it was a mini Direct. There was all sorts of rumor and speculation about when it would drop, what kind of Direct it would be, but Nintendo never really clearly said anything, and you can't really get mad at them because they never said anything of, you know, what was going to be with this Direct and how it was going to go. They did do a little teasing with the whole Chibi Robot on Fire thing and some other weird stuff. But yeah, eventually we did get this Direct in the form of a mini Direct, and it's about as what you would expect from a mini Direct. It had some pretty nice announcements in it, but nothing that was heavy hitting. Most of it was definitely the more minor stuff. The only weird thing that seemed missing from it for some reason was Yoshi. Yoshi, being the Yoshi game that was showed off at E3, was mysteriously missing from the Direct. I'm starting to wonder, is it going to be another Yoshi's Woolly World situation where Yoshi's Woolly World, I remember that was revealed like long before when it came out, where we knew it as Yarn Yoshi, and then it like disappeared for a while, and then it kind of just came back and disappeared again. And I mean, it was gone for so long that we had a Yoshi's Woolly World stage in Smash before the game even came out. So I'm wondering if that might be the case with this Yoshi game too, but maybe it is a late fall game or something along the lines of that. But otherwise, we did get some decent announcements in this. We got The World Ends With You, a final remix of that, which that was crazy to me, especially since there were actually rumors recently about a sequel to that game happening. So to see that it's getting a remake definitely gives those rumors a little more weight. We also got DLC for 𝗂𝘂𝗀𝗶, which honestly, I'm not sure if I really want to put money into more DLC with 𝗂𝘂𝗀𝗋. It's kind of annoying that they would make more DLC, because the version on Switch is supposed to be the definitive version, even though they're adding more characters as DLC, so it's not really that definitive now, so it's weird. But the character choices, I'll give them this. The character choices they have in the DLC is pretty cool. They have 𝗂𝘂𝘀𝗶𝗰, who is pretty popular in terms of Kalos Pokemon. 𝗂𝘂𝘀𝘶 is a real fun Pokemon to use, so it makes sense that it would earn a character slot. And then my boy Blastoise gets respect. You know, that's the best Kanto starter right there. I'm glad my boy is getting respect after all these years. Pokemon Blue rep. Let's see what else we have on here. We have Kirby Star Allies, which came right after that, which I want to go into a ramble about Kirby Star Allies, but man, I might as well make a whole separate video on that and why that game is extremely hyped to me. Let's just say that Kirby Star Allies looks perfect to me. A lot of people on Twitter have been wondering why I've been going crazy for that game and why my sudden Kirby passion is just bursting out again. And I feel like a lot of people don't understand why I'm extremely excited for this Kirby game compared to others. This Kirby game excites me because it is the first HD mainline console Kirby since Return to Dreamland. Well, yeah, since Return to Dreamland on a Nintendo platform, and it's great. It's great to see that it's taking elements from Return to Dreamland. It has the mixed abilities from Kirby 64 as an inspiration. There's this game is just doing so much right, and the ability roster, my dude, it is absolutely insane how crazy that ability roster is. It looks super broken how many good abilities are possibly going to be in this game. I'm looking forward to this game, man. That's all I gotta say. I just feel like some people don't know that distinguish between mainline Kirby, spin-off Kirby, and some people feel like Kirby is burning out. I will admit that after Star Allies, admittedly, the mainline 2D Kirby has a lot to step up from if they're going to continue it. Because we had definitely, with the 3DS Kirby games, if you did play them all, like me, I can see how 2D Kirby in the traditional format is burning out a little, especially since Star Allies follows that formula pretty closely. But I don't personally mind, because Star Allies was the Kirby game I was waiting for since Return to Dreamland, and I feel like it will be the peak of Kirby's 2D career until we do get that 3D Kirby and they start dabbling into that a little more, which I feel like they're experimenting with it more and more with stuff like Battle Royale and Blowout Blast. But that's all I have to say with Kirby for now. Let's move on to some of the other things. We have Mario Tennis Aces, which Mario Tennis Aces actually looks really good, surprisingly. At first, I wasn't too keen on the idea of another Mario Tennis. I was like, oh no, another Mario sports game. I mean, the Mario spin-offs in general, a lot of the Mario sub-series have been really struggling lately. I feel like the biggest problem with the Mario sub-series lately is they're abandoning elements that made them so unique and great from the traditional Mario series, and are trying to become this generic, formulaic thing that they can shove out for a quick buck with stuff like Ultra Smash, which was a pure garbage game due to how bare bones it was. Felt like a tech demo released as a full game. But Aces, right off the bat, you can tell that something is different. Mario and the other plumbers are in new gear and stuff. The stadium has some extra detail from it. And the big thing, it has an actual story mode, which, I mean, I'm not really a big Mario Tennis guy. I mostly care about the other Mario spin-offs, especially the Mario RPGs. But the reason why Ace is looking good kind of gives me hope is I had a feeling that Mario Odyssey would be this key to reigniting creativity in the other Mario sub-series. I feel like, again, that's what they've been struggling with. They've been trying to get into this stupid new Super Mario Brothers formulaic generic route that Miyamoto or whoever has set it on, and I feel like it's finally time for Mario to step out its shell and have unique elements again, and I feel like Aces will be the first test to that. If Aces is more of the same generic crap, then I don't know. I'm starting to have less and less hope for the other Mario sub-series. Moving on. So while we're on the topic of Mario, we can talk about Mario Odyssey, I guess. Mario Odyssey gets its first update with Luigi's Balloon World, which honestly I was kind of like, meh. I mean, I was like, super excited. I remember I saw Luigi coming down and I was like, oh snap, is it time? Is my boy Luigi playable? Nope, he's just in charge of this mode where you hide a balloon and you go. It's basically hide and seek with balloons in the Mario overworlds, which honestly, it feels like it's gonna be a short novelty. If I gotta be truly honest, it didn't feel like it was gonna connect to me. Now, don't get me wrong, there were some cool elements of this update they did announce, like the new costumes and some minor things like the filters and stuff. That's all cool and all, but I really want Mario Odyssey to get bigger updates. Like, I want some new kingdoms, I want that playable Luigi, stuff like that. Even if it ends up being paid DLC, I would consider it, and that's the reason why I think the Mario Odyssey update didn't really knock me out my seat. If it were up to me personally, if they're not going to go all in with kingdoms like that, I feel like they should save the assets, save some of the additional stuff they're planning to add, and maybe make an Odyssey 2 later down the line. But I will go into detail with that in another video. And finally, we get into the last few things here. Mario & Rabbids got DLC, which I can't really comment much on that because I definitely don't own the game. Not a Rabbids guy, but I do hear that the game did end up good, despite my previous comments on this channel of how I think the idea of Mario & Rabbids in a game is stupid, dumb, no hope, but the game ended up being decent. So it getting DLC is nice. My boy DK is in there, which I found it cool that Donkey Kong is the new character for this game, because Grant Kirkhope does compose the music of this game, and he did compose some music for Donkey Kong back in the day, so it's good that he kind of had a little reunition with that. And then I guess the only other things I can mention that I really care about is ports. They mentioned some ports for stuff like Hyrule Warriors, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, and Dark Souls Remastered. There's all sorts of ports that were announced in this mini direct, and that's a big reason why this mini direct was disappointing to people. They think that the Switch is just becoming a port machine and that its core library is not unique enough. Now, for the most part, I would have to say my stance on ports is definitely mixed. On one hand, I don't mind ports because it's not like it's taking assets and time and effort away from core games. I feel like developers are still developing core games for Switch. I don't think they're putting all their resources into solely ports, and the Switch is just going to get ports throughout its entire life. I do think that it will definitely get ports for quite a while, but for the most part, I do expect new games as time moves on. But we will have to see how that goes, especially with Wii U ports, because Wii U ports, I only think that there's a few Wii U ports left that they should honestly port, and that honestly need to be ported. Like, there's some Wii U ports I definitely can see, like maybe a Pikmin trilogy will come that includes Pikmin 3. There were rumors of Wonderful 101 getting a revamp or a port or something like that. Stuff like that, maybe I'd mostly be okay with, but I feel like there are some people who ask for games that make no sense. Like, some people ask, hey, port over Paper Mario Color Splash. No, how about make a good Paper Mario and put that on Switch, please? But that's just my thoughts on the whole porting thing. As long as we get decent ports and more up-to-date ports, not super old game ports, I think it's mostly fine. But yeah, that's my stance overall on the mini direct. I thought it was okay. It wasn't mind-blowing as some people were hyping it up to be. I definitely was going in with low expectations, especially when I heard that it was called a mini direct. But I do have to say this though. If I have to be honest, I didn't really like the format that this direct went. Nintendo sort of giving no heads up or anything for this direct, just saying, hey, here's a mini direct that you can watch in like a few seconds and stuff like that, and they just drop it out of nowhere with the suspense building up to the direct just being absolute craziness. And I feel like that was kind of poor handling. I feel like if Nintendo had announced that it was a mini direct from the start, it would have helped, soften some of the disappointment bombs that people got hit with when we found out it was a mini direct. And on top of that, the whole mini direct thing just didn't really blend well with me either. It happened at like a random time, so I didn't really have time to prepare to watch this and live react to it with friends. There were spoilers all over the timeline because it was just a video, it wasn't a live stream, so I wasn't surprised watching the direct itself. And overall, it was just a mess. I honestly hated this format. Next time, I just hope Nintendo gives a heads up with directs in the future of any kind, be it mini, regular, whatever. Moving on. So I guess the next thing to update and talk about with Nintendo is Nintendo Labo. And if I gotta be honest, this is more so something that I'm only gonna touch on briefly because most of what I have to say for this is pretty brief. I mean, it exists. Nintendo cardboard, it exists. That's really all I have to say. I mean, although I think that some of the reaction to it was a bit over drastic. Some people were freaking out like, oh, Nintendo's making cardboard. This is all we're going to have to play for the entirety of 2018. I know Nintendo does some pretty weird and crazy stuff sometimes, but I doubt that they would be foolish enough, especially after the last few years, to actually give their core fans freaking cardboard and nothing of substance. We still know that there are still core games on the way. It's not like Nintendo straight up told us that cardboard is all we're getting and we're out here damage controlling cardboard. Heck no. Heck no. I do believe that if we were, though, in like a worse period where it was like the Wii U or 3DS period and they were doing this cardboard stuff, it would be much worse because there would be nothing of substance. We wouldn't know what core games were up ahead and it would have a much worse reaction. But I feel like with how on fire the Switch is doing, that's the reason why Nintendo Labo wasn't such a big deal to me and others. As long as the core games are still doing well and coming out fine, I have no major problems. Nintendo Labo is something that just exists for the casual audience that they are going for. So that's all I have to say on Nintendo Labo. So overall, those are my thoughts on some of the recent Nintendo news and just a quick update on how things are going in the Nintendo community. So what are we doing now? Well, now that Direct has dropped, there have been rumors that a full Direct will be dropping in February. And a part of me thinks that this is very possible because we are getting close to that 1-year anniversary landmark for the Nintendo Switch. And I think that what Nintendo is trying to do is more so save their heavy hitters for a more appropriate time. They're trying to play their cards right here because I feel like if Nintendo really wanted to, they could blow out certain titles that we know they have in the works, but they're clearly saving them up. Like everyone's asking, oh, where's Smash? Where's Smash? That is definitely one that is in the playing cards that they are being extremely careful of playing. Smash is something huge that they have to save for crucial moments. That's pretty much what they did with Smash throughout the past. Smash has always been a #1 way to gain interest with anything Nintendo. Anything Nintendo. If it's related to Smash, it goes in. Heck, Smash carried a huge amount of the Wii U's directs, E3s. Like, if it weren't for Smash, I don't know how Wii U hype would still keep going. But yeah, I do think that they are saving Smash and some other games. Although I do think that at this point, they could reveal a few games by now. And that's where that big February Direct comes in. I do think that they do have a few games in the cards that they'll play. Because I feel like what that mini Direct lacked was some big heavy hitter. Like, if the mini Direct ended with a big heavy hitter announcement that could really get fans hyped, I feel like the mini Direct would have made a bigger impact and it would have definitely lessened the disappointment even more. But because the mini Direct was so obviously filled with minor stuff, it wasn't as crazy to people as it could have been. But I feel like if this mini Direct really had nothing of substance and we still don't really know how 2018 will be outlined fully, maybe that's where this February Direct can come in and fill in some of those gaps. Or perhaps there is no February Direct and Nintendo really is just going to let the games we know carry us to E3, which I'm gonna be honest, that would not be a good idea, because especially since a lot of them are ports. So I don't know how Nintendo is going to work that out, but we will have to see how that works out. Alright guys, well this has been 𝗠𝘂𝘀𝗶𝗰. I hope you enjoyed the Nintendo update. Please leave a like if you enjoyed it and if you would like to see more Nintendo updates in the future. Alright, I'm out. Peace. Also, are we not going to talk about how this man Funky Kong is absolutely broken? Like, on top of having that much extra health, this man has all the abilities of all the other characters. This man is standing on spikes. This man is surfing the water. He just doesn't care. Like, this man is broken. How did they allow this? Was this what Retro was working on? Retro, did you spend 4 to 3 years on Funky Kong? If so, then that makes a lot of sense.